Today is Thursday, February 16th, 2017, and today I'm going to talk about Donald Trump's press conference. It was an epic press conference, lasted for about an hour and 15 minutes. He was answering a lot of different questions. He was allowing people to have a lot of time to ask multiple questions, follow-up questions, and everything. It was great. I will not place the entire thing in this video, but I will paste some links in the box below. I'll probably do one from C-SPAN that has the whole thing, which is probably the best place to go at this point for anything media related, because they give you just the coverage of it, just videos, and that's it. They don't really put their own spin on it. They don't give you their 2 cents. And every other news channel does that. I think CNN, even Fox, MSDNC, they put their own spin on it and give you their own 2 cents, to the point where it's almost not news anymore, because how far can you go into putting your own spin on a certain story before it becomes a different story? Before you present it in a way that's negative, that makes the viewer looking at it feel like they should feel negatively about that as well. But I digress. I'm going to also talk about PewDiePie here. Now, if you don't know who PewDiePie is or how I'm going to relate him to Donald Trump, I'll explain. Now, PewDiePie is the biggest YouTuber on the platform with about 50 million plus subscribers, which is the biggest on YouTube. I think the next closest person is like 20 million less than him. So he's the biggest YouTuber there is. The media reports a lot about him being very rich. I think they said in 1 year he made $7.4 million off of the platform, either off of the platform as far as the ads and whatnot in the videos, or also because of his best-selling book and other things that he has that are kind of ancillary to YouTube, maybe donations and stuff like that. The media has targeted him recently because of so-called anti-Semitic views in his videos, which really just jokes and whatnot. But I'll talk about that a little bit later. First, I'm going to talk about Donald Trump and the press conference. It was an excellent press conference. It was long. He was funny in the press conference. He had, direct questions that he answered questions directly. Some said that he was trying to dodge them and avoid them, but no. He was just answering the questions properly. There were many loaded questions that were asked, and he answered them in the correct way. Some said that he tried to dodge it, but you don't answer a loaded question without deconstructing it first. It's like if I ask somebody, hey, when you beat your wife, did you go to jail, and how long was it for? If you went to jail for something and you stayed there for a while, but it was not for beating your wife, shouldn't you fix that question? Because they're saying something that's not true in the question itself. That's called a loaded question. There's a lot of that type of stuff going on. Just like, or you praised Russians for hacking the DNC. It's like, who knows that the Russians actually hacked the DNC? And who knows that it was just them if it was them? You see, stuff like that. That's called loaded questions. So there was a lot of that type of stuff going on at this press conference. And that's part of the reason why he pretty much wrecked them throughout the conference. He was calling them fake media, fake news, very fake news. That's a new thing he has now for CNN and etc. So that was pretty good to see him do that and just kind of be off the cuff and not be so polished like Barack Obama. Barack Obama, he was very well spoken and he could just kind of talk in that little, that really kind of slow kind of way he would speak. And it made you kind of believe what he was saying a little bit, especially if you were a liberal, or if you were on that side of the coin, you'll kind of believe what he's saying because he has such a great way of delivering it, slow and deliberate, but not herky-jerky. Donald Trump is just basically talking on top of his head. He's just talking. It's not really anything rehearsed or polished. And I appreciate that from a politician that gives you honesty. A lot of these politicians are giving you just straight lies. That's why Michael Flynn, unfortunately, had to get fired. He was forced to resign is because he was dishonest towards Mike Pence. And then they were confused about some of the questions that were answered by Donald Trump. When Donald Trump said that the leaks are real but the news is fake, they didn't understand that. They were saying, well, if the leaks are real, then how can the news about the leaks be fake? But it's very simple. You can frame the leaks in a certain way to make it seem like something that is not. And you can report on things that you add your spin on it. You add your own 2 cents on it to the point where you add a new layer to the story. The tone of a story and the content that's included in the story can change a leak into an entirely different story. It's always a negative headline. It's always a negative thing. Like Donald Trump said, they'll take a positive story and make it be negative. How did you do that? They won't change the core of the story, but they'll add on things around it to make it be a different story. That's why it's fake. So I thought it was pretty good doing that. It was a long press conference. I think you'll enjoy it, and I'll put that in the box from C-SPAN. That's the best place to go because, like I say, MSNBC, MSDNC, pardon me, CNN, even Fox News, they'll put their own 2 cents on it. But C-SPAN does not do that. They give you the news pretty much uncut and raw. They don't even add, even if they're asked a question. I watched some of the press conferences or some of the actual live events from the campaign, and then people will call in after it's over to C-SPAN. And sometimes the person on the phone will ask the person that's the host looking into the camera about their point of view. And then the host will be like, no, that's not what we do here. We just give you a platform to be able to speak your mind. We're nonpartisan. We don't take sides. That's pretty much what it is over here. We just give you the news and that's it. We don't add our 2 cents. And I appreciate them for that. So that's why I rock with C-SPAN 100% of the way. So shout out to C-SPAN for your non-biased coverage, just giving it to you how it is. That's the way it should be. But these so-called news media organizations and newspapers, they got to be sensational. They got to give you a salacious headline. They got to give you this negative kind of reality show type of presentation to be able to get viewers, to be able to get ratings, to be able to get money. And I've seen some people in the audience, some of the press corps, trying to keep a straight face, like Kristen Welker. Shout out to Kristen Welker. She was hilarious. I'll post a quick little clip right here on the screen before you. You can see the young lady right there. I'm not quite sure if she's black or whatever, but you see her right there on the left-hand side of the right-hand box. You can see her trying to hold her face together. He'll say something that's funny, Trump that is, and then she'll try to not laugh. She'll try to contort her face to stop laughing because she knows she's on camera, so she can't appear to be even amused. It's like, see, that's fake. You're trying to hide your emotion to make Trump appear to be this bad guy that you just cannot even smile at. You see, that's fake news. When you're not even able to show yourself, show your true emotions, you got to present stories with a lean that's negative. You always got to do things like that to kind of delegitimize them. And a lot of these people are useful idiots. But I'll get to that a little bit later. I'm going to talk about PewDiePie right now. Now, like I say, this is a big YouTuber, the biggest YouTuber, and he's also a victim of fake news. The news media has kind of been on him a lot because of how much money he makes. The news media does not like new media, which is basically what he is. But he's not even the news guy. He's just a guy that's on YouTube that's bringing a lot of attention to that platform. He's probably getting more views per day than a lot of these shows on TV. So, of course, the news media, which has a vested interest in television staying alive, they're going to hate on him. That's my opinion. I'm not quite sure if that's the reason why they hate on him or not, but that's what I think. I think they're upset at the YouTubers for taking a lot of traffic and viewers for them. But that's just the nature of the beast. At a certain point, we're not going to be locked into this old school kind of way of doing things with the cable subscription model. We can just say, you know what? Rather than paying $1 million for this cable bill every month, I'm going to just go on YouTube for free and look at whoever I want to look at. Whether it be PewDiePie for entertainment, whether it be Anthony Brown Logan for your political commentary, whether it be somebody from a different country for news, whatever it is, I can choose that. And I don't have to pay all this money to be able to do it. All I need is an internet connection and that's it. And I can do a lot more things on the internet aside from just your cable bill where you only just watch TV and that's it. And you got to watch things at a certain time or you got to record it and all this other trouble. You can go on YouTube and find whatever you want a la carte for free. So they don't like that. So they kind of are upset at PewDiePie. So then they try to find things about him that are negative and then they report on it. They report on the money he makes as if it's a bad thing. You're in a capitalist world, you're in a capitalist society, and it's a problem that PewDiePie makes that much money. I don't get it. And beyond that, they reported a story about him making so-called anti-Semitic videos. And that's a whole big, long story. And I'll place PewDiePie's response in the description box below. But basically what he was saying was he had some videos that are meant to be kind of ironic to show how biased journalism and the mainstream media is. They'll take something that is done in the video, take it out of the context, and then create a story around that, which is fake, which is exactly what happened. It was a video where he went to this website called Fiverr, which is basically you can go there, you can get people to do things for you for $5. Now, I don't mean that in any kind of weird way, but it's like a creative website. You can go on there and get a lot of graphic design. A lot of graphic artists and designers like myself do not like Fiverr because we do a flyer for $75 or something like that. You can go on Fiverr and get the same thing for $5, even though maybe of low quality, maybe a template that somebody just kind of tweaks or whatever. It doesn't matter. It kind of cuts it to our bottom line. So he went on there to show how silly that whole process is to get somebody to do something for $5. You see what I'm saying? How demeaning it is. But the media, what they saw was PewDiePie goes to Fiverr and he hires a guy to dress as Jesus and then say Hitler did nothing wrong as far as what he did to the Jews, the Holocaust, or whatever. They took that part and made it seem like he was so-called anti-Semite, but they neglected the whole part behind that, which was how absurd it is that you can go on Fiverr and get people to do whatever you want, some of the most egregious and disgusting things. That's basically what there was. And there was another video where somebody was dancing around with something about Jews, death to Jews or something like that. But it was kind of the same thing. It was kind of being ironic, and it was showing how biased the media is and how they take things out of context and present it as a whole new story, which is exactly what they did. So that caused him to get a YouTube Red series canceled. Now, YouTube Red is YouTube's subscription service. Think of it like Netflix, $10 a month. You can go on there. You can get a lot of exclusive content that is not available on a regular platform, things you got to pay for. And also you can get like ad-free videos. You can play videos in the background on your smartphone, stuff like that. It's like little perks plus exclusive content you can get for $10 a month. So basically that's what happened to PewDiePie. He had the media attack him basically because he makes a lot of money, and he is on the platform that the mainstream media kind of rejects, and they kind of are envious of it. They're upset by it and they feel threatened by it. But PewDiePie and Trump both got a problem with the same people, the mainstream media, the so-called press, dishonest press that want to just put out articles for their own best self-interest, not for the interest of putting out proper news. See, I understand you trying to get ratings, right? As a fake media, as a media, but at a certain point, it becomes fake. It becomes sensationalized to the point where it's like TMZ, where you're just like an entertainment company that kind of dabbles in news. And that's not how the media should be, especially when you got people that are really making decisions based on that. You know, you're talking about real money that's behind it. You're talking about international consequences that are behind it. You're talking about a lot of riots in the nation. You know, you kind of turn away the fabric of our nation. You kind of doing things that you really shouldn't be doing as it relates to the security of our country. You know, back to Trump now. In the actual press conference, he was talking about how people were leaking stuff within the White House or within the intelligence community. They were leaking it to the press. They leaked a phone call you had with Nieto from Mexico, the president of Mexico. They leaked a phone call from the prime minister of Australia. And now they're leaking stuff between Michael Flynn and the Russian ambassador. And that's the whole big thing now. You're getting into illegality because who knew about that phone call? Did they record it? If they recorded it, that's illegal. You can't do that, can you? And if it was recorded and that information was given to the press, what's really going on here? See, that's part of draining the swamp. It's a very difficult thing because people that were in that room, many of them in that press conference, the journalists that is, many of them are kind of unholily bound to people that are in the administration from previous years and also previous administrations that still kind of get ties in the White House, intelligence community, CIA, NSA, etc. You know, somebody's wife works at CNN. Somebody's husband is, you know, X, Y, and Z person at the intelligence committee at the NSA, CIA, etc. That is a swamp right there. It's the unholy alliances between people in the media and the actual government. And they kind of work hand in hand to get things done. And it could be kind of a soft coup that they're trying to do right here to try and put up misinformation about Donald Trump to make him seem like he's less of a legitimate president. A lot of it happens to deal with what has been called the fourth wall. And the fourth wall could be considered basically what the shadow government hides behind, right? They're pulling all the strings. They're like Pinocchio. There's people out there that are politicians that are pretty much put in power. Barack Obama being the prime example. He was put there, boom. Either he just rose to prominence or he was put there by the fourth wall. Maybe he had been groomed his whole life to become that, to become the president. Maybe he went to a black church in Chicago to appear to be more black because he grew up in Indonesia and Hawaii. So what does he know about being black in America? Nothing. But you put him in Chicago, it's like, okay, now we're grooming you. We're grooming you to become the president. That is done by the fourth wall. And behind that fourth wall sits the shadow government. Now, I would not say anybody's name, but you know who I'm talking about. Now, I don't want to end up like PewDiePie for talking about somebody that might be involved with it, right? But you already know who it is. Barack Obama is part of it. Maybe he's part of the deep state, of the shadow government. Maybe he's behind the fourth wall, or maybe he's controlled by them. It's hard to tell, but he's definitely involved. And there are many others. That's why it was such a fierce opposition against Trump when he came into, the office, or before he was coming into the office. It was a big opposition from both sides. You never really seen that. You never really seen where it was like your own party's trying to sabotage you as well as the opposing party. You see, that's why I like him a lot, is because I know that he's going to get in there and ruin that whole little paradigm they got going on behind the scenes. Things you don't see, things that you are not able to see, things that you are not allowed to see. That's what's going on behind that fourth wall and the so-called shadow government, deep state, whatever you want to call it. People that work behind the scenes that you would never see. You don't know their name. When you talk about George Soros, he's like the front man for the the fourth wall, for the shadow government. It's a lot of other guys that are a lot worse than him, have endless pockets, deep pockets, and endless influence, deep influence. And those people, you won't really know who they are ever. They stay behind the scenes and do what they do and just make things work. But Donald Trump came in there, his whole big monkey wrench. See, the deep state, as I close, the deep state, the shadow government, they'll put somebody into office with their resources. And that's like the barrier between a common citizen and a high-level government official. In order for you to reach that high level, you got to have money. And the only way to get it is from the deep state, is from the shadow government, is behind the fourth wall. They reach behind that fourth wall and say, here's the money. Now we need you to do X, Y, and Z. And if you don't, well, we'll take the money back. But Trump did not have that problem because he had his own money and he was able to get some money from their own people. Because, you see it right there in the campaign and what happened. He won the campaign with $725 million. Hillary had $1.3 billion and still lost. Where did $1.3 billion come from? Let's just be honest. It came from the deep state, the shadow government. Even though she's wealthy beyond imagination because of the shadow government and deep state, she still needed more from them. So that's why I voted against her and for him, among other reasons. That's pretty much all I got. What do you think? Do you think that the press conference that Donald Trump gave was great? Was it too long? Was it too short? Did you want to see more? Do you want to see more conferences like that in the future? Not just from Trump, but from other presidents, being 100% real, being 100% honest. And about PewDiePie, what do you think about that? Do you think that he is kind of falling to the same fate that they're trying to make Donald Trump fall to? Once you get to a certain level and you want to get a certain kind of money, you can't make jokes about certain people. You can't do certain things. You got to stay within the line. And if you don't, there'll be consequences. Or do you think it's just like conspiracy theories? It's not really real. Donald Trump was a liar. He's a buffoon, etc. Do you think PewDiePie, do you think that guy is an anti-Semite or racist? The guy that makes tongue-in-cheek videos for teens and tweens and video game stuff and bad comedy, a guy from Sweden, is that the guy that's this big bad white supremacist anti-Semite? Whatever your comments are, let me know in the comments below. That's all I gotta say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.